The same year King brings local news to the Northwest, it dares to broadcast live a sporting event Seattle has never seen: hydroplane racing. For decades, the Gold Cup race had been held in Detroit, Michigan. It was a tradition until a Seattle boat called Slow Motion 4 travels to the Midwest in 1950 and unexpectedly wins the race. According to the rules, Seattle will host the next Gold Cup.
This, for us in this territory, was taking on a major league city in Detroit for a Gold Cup, which they felt that they owned, and we wanted to take away from them. That was the basic conflict.
King 5 sportscaster Bill O'Mara is on board to call the race, but first, director Lee Shulman has to figure out how to televise an event that he and Seattle have never seen before.
I felt like a scientist who was sitting down with a problem.
The idea of placing a submarine in the middle of Lake Washington with cameras mounted on its periscope is briefly considered. Instead, cameras are strategically placed on barges, one equipped with the nation's first 40-inch telescopic lens, specially built by King engineers.
And that made it possible to see pictures of that race that never would have been possible otherwise.
On race day, 100,000 spectators line the shore. Thousands more are watching at home as Bill O'Mara gives his play-by-play.
Now, let's see how they go through that corner for the first time. Very dangerous course, 3.5 miles, capable of a lot of speed, but swells coming off the ridge, so it was heaven and hell at the same time.
In the third lap of the third heat, it is hell, as a boat from Portland crashes on the south turn and sinks.
They went in, and the boat never appeared again.
And nobody had any idea if the driver was alive, dead, or what.
So I went to my knees and said the prayer.
And I just responded as a director to what he was doing, and we slowly panned the cameras up into the sky.
I said the Our Father, and from that time on, my sort of history.
That's how it happened. It was a remarkably wonderful, emotional moment.
The boat's driver and mechanic are killed. They are the first fatalities in Gold Cup history.
And so after you pan up and you do this, and you cry, your emotion says, now what? So you go back to the camera and you do what has to happen.
In the end, Slow Motion 5 is declared the winner, and the Gold Cup stays in Seattle for another year.
Just do it.
Okay. How long are you going to talk here now?
Just until I tell you to cut it off. Okay, ready? Roll it. And Miss Pierre, the minute here.
When this is running.
Driving the U-40, the American Speedy printing press, is the Fred Leland. Driving the U-43 Kawaguchi Travel, which also did not qualify, will be the Will Muncie. He did not qualify, but he will be in the consolation race. Through this race, there is over 500,000 people here today, and like I said, we're broadcasting from the some scaffolding put up here on the north side of the lake. And I hope you enjoy yourselves, and the 5-minute gun should be going off shortly. Okay? Altogether, I would say that there is close to 1 million people down here. Now, that's a rough estimate, but I'm pretty sure it is. The boats are packed, people are shot, the shores are packed. Okay, we're going to join in the races now. They're coming around the corner. They're coming real fast. They just started around the north turn, and here they come. They're starting. They come. They come. Coming around the north turn. Was the U-10 Miss Pure Delight. The driver is Bobby Howard. He started racing in 1976 when his first crew chief is Al Thomas. Once again, the winner of Heat 2B was the U-10 Miss Pure Delight. The boat made its first debut in 1976 at Detroit with the name Miss Avernus. The U-64 It later received the Miss Squire products, and the Squire shop sponsored it. After that, the craft's best season was back in 1978 when it was named the Squire shop. And incidentally, back in 1978, the Squire shop sponsored the hydroplane races, now sponsored by the Sea Galley. Anyway, getting back to our subject, the boat later became in 1981 the Miss KYYX, which was driven by Bobby Howard, who bought the boat last May, and then it's now driven by Miss Brenda Jones. Bobby Howard of Fort Myers, Florida, is a veteran of the Unlimited Hydros. He's been driving for a long time now. Look at the hydroplane races. Here's the Emerald Sea Galley Cup and Thunderboat on the Lake. We're coming up on the third race, consolation race, which means that there'll be 5 more boats racing, and that's okay. We're doing all right. They are now lowering the boats into the lake, getting fired up, and as you can see, the crowd is really excited. It's coming down to the final wire. It's been a very good day here. By the way, I'm Curtis Blackwell. We are located just on the west of the Stan Sayers pits, up on a hill. We've got a nice view here, and we're approximately 100 feet up off the ground, and then up on some scaffolding. But anyway, that's not important. Important thing is that we're here to enjoy the races and call them as we see them. So they'll be starting the next race in about just about 5 minutes. So when we see the boats going in the water, we'll be back. Very cooperative today, and I would say, estimating there was about close to 500,000 people, and on the log room, who knows how many, 100,000 boats, we don't know. But I'm sure that by tomorrow, when everything is all done and over with, things get back to normal, it'll be all right. Once again, the winner of the 1983 Emerald Sea Galley Cup was the Miss Budweiser by a half a length. The Squire shop went dead in the water. The second heat, the final heat, which was about an hour ago, had to be canceled because the Miss Rock wound up hitting the buoy on the south turn, and now they did it over again. So once again, here from Stan Sayers pits, just above them on the west side, this is Curtis Blackwell saying thanks, and watch us again next year as we cover the 1983 Sea Galley Emerald Cup. Good night. Last 2 seasons, which is formerly the Atlas Van Lines, has accumulated 8 race victories and 2 national high point championships. Jim Harvey continues as a crew chief with Mickey Redmond in the cockpit. After a 6-year hiatus, Redmond returns the unlimited ranks, and I think he'll do very well today.
Okay, we have U1 Atlas Van Lines. The driver is Chip Hanauer. The boat was designed by Jim Lucero, and the owner is Fran Muncie, representing the late Bill Muncie. The engine in the Atlas Van Lines is a Landcombing T55 turbo engine. Chip Hanauer is entering his 8th year of unlimited competition as an Atlas pilot. Hanauer is the sport's winningest active driver with 11 career victories, and among his feats are 2 consecutive Gold Cups, 2 consecutive national championships, and more than 13 national world speed records.
Still off? Yeah. Okay, you're on.
Good afternoon and welcome to Hydros 84. This is Curtis Blackwell along with Randy Long. I tell you, welcome to a beautiful sunshiny afternoon here on the shores of Lake Washington.
Actually, it's raining. Actually, Curtis, yes, Mother Nature is acting up again. I think we're going to be in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Middle of a thunderstorm. I think that we're going to get a little wet here, but however, that's not going to let us dampen our spirits here. Anyway, let's get right into things. As we are coming on the air, we understand that the race has been delayed for 15 minutes because Vice President Bush has arrived down in the pits and is currently getting a tour down there. Now, Rob is, my pit reporter, is on top of things. He knows what's going on down there, so we'll be checking back with him throughout the day. Now, Randy, why don't you go ahead and tell us who your favorites today in the race?
Well, the two biggest favorites is Atlas Van Line, driven by Chip Hanhauer. It's got to be the favorite. It's got a T55 Landcombing turbo engine in it, and it's just been flawless all week. It qualified at 137.615, and is by far the best boat out for this week. Miss Budweiser's in there with their 4,000 horsepower Griffin Rolls-Royce engines, and they've been fairly consistent this year. They're leading in the point standings, and they're going to be tough. Now, like we said earlier, the Tasiasi is the sleeper. I tell you, if they keep their turbines going, it's a nice handling boat. It's a little lighter than the Atlas, and they haven't really done anything this year, but this could be it. And the water looks good. It's not really windy. There's a slight wind out of the south, but the water is flat, and it could be a pretty good race. There's a little rain, and everybody's getting wet, but it's still a lot of fun.
What's a little bit of water? What's a little bit of water?
Seafair 1984.
Seafair 1984. This is what Seattle's been waiting for, and they've got it. Well, I tell you, Randy, I'm favoring myself. I'm going to favor the Miss Budweiser. He's been on the racing circuit 23 years. Bernie Little, the owner, I was down talking with him yesterday, and he told me that he thinks that they're ready. They had 4 extra engines, the Merlins, and just in case, they're ready. They are ready for it. Talking to the pit crew leaders and everything, and they're ready. The race course this year is the same as last year. It's 2.5 miles long. Now, they run 5 laps on the race course. There's 4 heats altogether. Heat 1A, which is the top qualifying boats, which qualified on Thursday and Friday. Those are the boats that had the fastest speed while they were qualifying. You take those and put them in Heat 1A. Heat 1B is where they take the slower boats that qualified at 105 miles per hour on up to 110 miles per hour. Those boats are put in a slower heat. Now,
this basically was by a draw. The Tasiasi
Okay, I'm sorry.
But,
it's draw, but
4 out of the 5 fastest boats are in 1A.
Right.
And then the rest are in 1B, except for the Tasiasi.
Like I said, we are ready for this race. We have the facts up here. Like I said, we've been running into technical problems. Like I said, we're not going to let that spoil us. Let's get a shot out here of the log boom. And as you can see, the log boom, there's at least 100,000 boats out there, and it's 4.5 miles long. There is large barges and everything else out there. We're going to take a short break here. We're going to take a short break, come back, and stick with us for more live coverage of Hydros 84. The nerds are starting good. They're underway for Heat 1A. of Detroit. The Spirit of Detroit won Heat 1B. Also the Frank Kenny Toyota. So, here is Heat 2A. Here's the way of the camera. Well, that's going to do it for the 1984. As we say goodbye, I want you to pan the camera out over there, over the log boom, as people leave to catch a show.
You give me some kind of word cue.
Okay, I'm going to say that's going to do it for here, this year for Hydro's 1984. Thank you for joining us.
7-Eleven Freedom Cup.
7-Eleven Freedom Cup.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait a second. I'll talk over like Louis Budweiser.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
But you go first.
Well, Randy, it's been a very, very successful day up here, even though it rained quite a bit this morning. We thought things were going to get rained out. The weather cleared off very quickly. What do you think of Miss Budweiser winning there?
Well, the Miss Budweiser showed the consistency what it showed all year. You know, it's leading the point standings by 1,000 points, and it showed today. It's consistent. It's gone out. It's won 4 of the last 6 races. Now this is 5 out of 7 races, and it's just really has a consistent look. The Atlas was running good. It had the fastest lap in the history of the Seafair today.
Correct.
But the turbine engine just didn't hold up.
No,
the Budweiser was right there.
The turbine just could not hold up on that thing at all. And I tell you, the Miss Budweiser I favored all along. I knew that Bertie Little. I talked to him yesterday. He was ready for it. Well,
talking to Jim Cropfield, he said yesterday, consistency is the winner, and that's what they have. They don't have the fastest boat, but they're consistent.
They're consistent and they're winning.
They're the winner.
Yes, and Tatsi looked real good today, even though he couldn't get up to full force. And Heat 1B, I noticed that he was out there with that new hole that, like I said, I talked with the driver yesterday, and he had an opportunity to go ahead and get it off over there and scrape off the bottom. They were working up 24 hours, and he did real well. That's the first year on the line there. Well, any final comments there before we leave?
Yeah, I'd like to say today was an exciting day. You know, we had everything. We had thunder, we had lightning, we had sunshine, we had the boats, we had the people, the atmosphere. It was just a great experience. It was a pleasure working with you, Curtis.
It's a pleasure working with you, Randy.
I think we're going to see a lot more of the turbine engines in the future, and I hope I'm here for a Hydro 85.
I think so too. Well, that's about going to do it for today. I'm Curtis Blackwell along with Randy Long. Thank you for joining us, and join us again next year for live coverage of Hydro's 85 here from the shores of Lake Washington. Thank you for joining us, and good night.